Hello, my name is Mrs. C, and I'm an ELL teacher here at Florida Connections Academy. Today, I'm going to be talking about a social studies portfolio assignment. This is for Unit 3, titled Our Past, Our Present, Lesson 16. Create a mobile. So we're going to create a mobile, which you can see in this picture, but we're going to create it using some things from our past and some things from our present that you've learned about. After you create your mobile, you'll upload it and turn it into your teacher, and this will be a graded assignment. So we want to look at the rubric before we begin to make sure we do everything we need to do to get an excellent grade. Here's our rubric. Let's look in this excellent column to see what we need to do to get the best grade possible. Communication. It says the mobile includes one picture that clearly shows a form of communication from the past and one picture that clearly shows a form of communication from the present. Communication is just a fancy word for how we speak to one another or how we convey ideas to one another. So you want to show some sort of item, some sort of technology that was used in the past and a different one that's used today in current times to help people communicate with each other. All right, let's look at that rubric again. In this bottom section, it says transportation. The mobile includes one picture that clearly shows a form of transportation from the past and one picture that clearly shows a form of transportation from the present. So again, transportation, just a fancy word for how we get from one place all the way to another. So in the past, how did we travel? Not right now, in current times, how do we travel? That's what we want to show. So you're going to need some tools. You're going to need a hanger, a clothes hanger. It can be metal, it can be plastic, it doesn't matter. You're going to need some string. I've already tied 4 pieces onto my hanger. You're going to need paper and maybe some crayons or colored pencils. I decided to draw my pictures, but you could also print them out if you didn't want to draw as well. That's fine. So you could use a computer to print out your pictures, but I decided I wanted to draw mine. I really like drawing. I might not be the best artist, but I think it's fun. So we need 2 things from the past, one for communication, one for transportation. Same thing for the future. So I labeled mine before I even started drawing. I labeled past and past, now and now. Now means present times, right? Currently. So in the past, I've drawn a picture of an old bicycle. Look at that really big front tire. We don't really have bicycles like that anymore, right? And in the past, I drew a picture of a quill and a jar of ink. So we used to write with a quill and ink, and we used to have to mail letters. It would take a really long time, right? Sometimes they had to travel on a ship across the sea really slowly. So in the past, that's how we communicated. I also wrote a sentence about each one in the back. So it says, in the past, people wrote with quills. That's that feathery pen with ink. In the past, people rode old bicycles that were slow, right? Transportation took a long time back then. For my bottom 2 pictures, these are things we currently use. I kind of ran out of room here, but that's okay. I have an airplane drawn, it says now above it, and I have an iPad drawn, it says now above it. We can use iPads to learn all kinds of things and to communicate, right? In the present, people can send emails with a tablet. So that's what we can do now, right? That's much faster. And then in the present, people can fly on planes very quickly. So that transportation is very fast. You could go to another state or another country and you could get there in the same day. Much, much faster than an old bicycle or an old horse and cart, right? So you don't have to pick these same pictures. You could pick different ones. I wanted to show you where you could find some ideas. If you go to the second page in lesson 16, right down here, number 2, you have some ideas, some cards that will demonstrate and show you some different ideas. So here's card number 21. It just says a mobile. This is what a mobile is. You might have had one hanging above your bed as a baby to entertain you while mom and dad were trying to put you to sleep. So here is a mobile that a student has created. It's got the hanger at the top. This is the now side. And then you're going to need 2 sides, right? You're going to need a side that says past as well. All right, transportation in the past. Here are some ideas of different ways people traveled. Here's that bicycle that I chose, but there's also an old car, an old ship, an old horse-drawn wagon. So you don't have to choose a bicycle like me. You could choose any of the ideas. Now let's look at communication in the past. This is how people spoke to one another. There's a letter written with that quill. There's also an old telephone, an old radio before TVs, right? So we need at least 2 pictures from the past, one for transportation, one for communication. Now let's look at current times. How do we travel now? There's a train, a newer bicycle, a car, an airplane. That's what I chose. So these are all ways that we can travel, transportation now. Let's look at communication now, how we can talk to one another and communicate. All right, we've got an iPod. We've got, it looks like a calculator or a planner. We've got a tablet, like an iPad, and a laptop computer. So these are all different ideas that you could put on your mobile. You don't have to use the same ideas that I chose. And again, you can find these on page 2 of your lesson. So if you go to page 2, you'll have a lot of good ideas. Okay, so for mine, now that I've chosen my 4 pictures and drawn them, I'm going to cut them out. So you're going to need some scissors too, and you're going to need some glue. Now I'm going to use a stapler just because it's going to save a lot of time since I'm making a video, and glue, takes a while to dry. You can use glue at home. What you're going to do is tie those 4 strings onto your clothes hanger, just like I've already done. And you're going to make a side that has present times and a side that has past times. So I'm going to take one of my past pictures. This is my quill, right? Communication. I'm going to take my string that's connected to my hanger, and I'm going to glue, but really I'm going to staple it on. Now when I do this, I want to make sure that both my past pictures are facing the same direction. So I'm going to pay attention when I staple this one on. Do, 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 do. I don't know if a stapler is really easy or not. It's kind of tricky to get it in there with the string. Let's try this. Doop. Got it. Okay. Now I've got my past facing this direction. So when I choose my next past picture, I want to make sure it's facing the same direction too. I'm going to put it on this string. Grab my bicycle from the past. That one's definitely not really like the bikes we use in current times in the present. And I'm going to go ahead and staple it right on too, or glue it on, of course. Oh, I missed it with that one. Let me try again. Remember, if you use glue, to make sure you let it dry before you try to hold it up and take a picture of it. It'll just fall right off. Okay, there's my staple finally. I think it's going to hold. So now I've got one side of my mobile done with the past. I've got bicycles in the past, and I've got that quill and ink in the past. I'm going to turn my hanger over, and I'm going to add my 2 pictures from present times, from now. So I'm going to staple on my picture of my airplane. That's how we travel now, right? Transportation. And when I staple on my next one, or glue on my next one, I want to make sure it faces the same direction. So now I'm also going to put this picture from present times of my tablet or iPad. iPad is a type of tablet computer, a brand. I'm going to make sure it faces the same direction. Okay, so now my mobile is complete. I've got all of my pictures on. I've got my 2 nows facing the same direction as well, with my tablet and my airplane. And I want to make sure that my teacher can also see those sentences that I wrote about each one as well, in present times, and then if I turn it over, in past times, and show her that I understand that transportation, or the way we travel, has changed, and I understand that communication, or the way we speak to one another, has also changed. So let's go back and look at our rubric and make sure we did everything that we needed to do to get a really excellent grade. I see right over here that I have shown one picture that shows communication from the past, and one picture that shows communication from the present. Remember, I had my quill and ink, and I had my iPad. Down here, also form of transportation from the past, I had my old bicycle, and transportation from the present, I had that airplane. So I've done all of the parts that I need to do. And this is clearly shows. I think you can tell what my pictures are pretty clearly. So I think my teacher would be happy with those photos and with my mobile. And that's all you need to do. After you do that, you can go and upload those pictures to your teacher. Make sure that she can see your hanger, maybe you holding it too. And I think you will get a fantastic grade. That's it for me. I hope this helped you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.